If you watched our tribe's Friday stock talk, you know that Frank came forward and said that he was concerned about his holdings in Nvidia going into the earnings call. Well, Frank and I both bought Nvidia back on June the 29th, 2022 for $153.60. And it's, as you know, it's gone up. Over the last 5 years, it's up 2,398%. Just this last year, it's up 90%. I bought more today going into the earnings call at $934. Am I sure it's going to go up? No, of course I'm not sure. But what I do know is that NVIDIA has a moat built around it, and it is going to be the big chip maker as we move into AI and then generative learning. From what I read, they are going to raise their guidance as they go into 2025, and they are going to actually consume one half of Taiwan Semiconductor's capacity to build chips over the next year. NVIDIA's sales are projected in 2025 to go up additional 80% higher than what they had projected prior to this earnings call. At least that's what I'm reading. And then in 2026, NVIDIA is trying to deal with the fact that the demand for its product will be greater than its ability to supply the product. That tells you two things. Anybody that has the NVIDIA chip is going to be a premium data center. Who are those? Well, we know that last year the biggest buyer, at least from what I've read, was Meta. We know that Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are buying them up as fast as they can. And then I know that Applied Digital has some up in North Dakota, so I'm continuing to hold that. So that's why I bought NVIDIA today. Now, what I want to do is take you to my computer and show you the analysis that I've did, such that I'm predicting the price of NVIDIA by the end of this year will be $1,397.91. By the end of 2025, I'm predicting it will be $1,719.17. And then in 2026, it'll be $2,026.40. What I want to do is show you how I came up with those numbers, how I predict the price of every stock that I own, or I should say every stock that is in the Bus 12 and Bus 13 and my moonshot portfolios, how I predict the prices based upon the information that I'm able to ascertain from their earnings calls, from the data that's available that I pay for and bring into my analysis, so that I have an idea of where is this going, and then all I have to do is watch it on a day-to-day basis and adjust my predictions accordingly. I don't follow 6,000 stocks. I don't get involved in anything really but other than semiconductors and AI of the future. Let me show you how I came up with my 2026, December 31st, 2026 price on NVIDIA of $2,026.40. Let's take a look. This is the spreadsheet that I've created to analyze NVIDIA. I do this for all 40 of the stocks that I follow in the Bus 12 and Bus 13. And how it's constructed is I go back to actually 2009 and I record their earnings per share, the price the stock is selling for, the revenue it's generating and the percentage growth, and then how much they're spending on research and development and the percentage growth. So as you can see, this is NVIDIA, and it goes all the way back to 2009, and it wasn't making any money. It was losing 1 cent, 3 cents, 1 to 11 cents. And as you can see the growth pattern of NVIDIA, and it really didn't take off until somewhere around 2021. And as I said, that was kind of the time that I started buying into it, and I told my tribe members to start to buy into it. So you can see the price grows here, takes a dip down in 2022, then really starts to take off. What I then do is I take an average of those numbers, and that says that the average growth of its earnings per share was 37% since 2009. And then I take the average growth of its price, and that's 64%. So what that tells me is that for every percentage point that the earnings per share goes up, the price goes up proportionately higher. In fact, it's 172%. So I put that into my algorithm to try to predict what is the price going to be in the future. Then what I do is this is the price it opened up January of 2024 at $475, and it had a earnings per share of about 49.59. I then take these two numbers and I equate them to the growth that is predicted into the future. Right now, that Nvidia is saying that their earnings per share for 2024 are going to be $12.96. That's a 288% increase. It's saying in 2025, now this is prior to their earnings statement tomorrow, or what would be today, they're projecting $25.20, or an increase in 94%. And then in 2026, $31.63, an increase of 26%. Now tomorrow afternoon, or this afternoon, that could all change. And as it changes, I believe it will affect the price of the stock. So I will come in here and change these numbers according to what Jensen and their CFO tell me tomorrow. And that will give me, and it will change these numbers. So this is, as you can see, this is where I believe it's going to end this year. And what is that based on? That is based on this number, a growth of 288, and an anticipation of a growth of 94%. Now, again, as I say, if that goes up tomorrow, this number will go up. If it goes down, this number will go down. Now, I use the same logic for 2025 and 2026. Now, again, based on what I'm reading, this is going to be low. This is saying, if what the pundits are saying is true, that in 2026, Jensen will have greater demand than he can fill supply. So that's where I think this is going. And what's going to restrict his ability to supply? Taiwan Semiconductor, because Intel's not going to have their fabs up by that time. So he may switch some over to Samsung to meet the demand, but that's what I see happening. Now, what do I have to do to take the risk out of that number? I got to watch and see what other companies are doing. Whether Advanced Micro Devices is going to put out a chip that challenges that of Nvidia. But then we've got the issue, if we don't think Taiwan Semiconductor is going to be able to keep up with Nvidia's demand, who's going to make Advanced Micro Devices? These are all things that we, on a day-to-day basis, have to figure into that number. Okay? And that number will change. As I said, this number is what it's selling for today. That changes as the market changes. In fact, you might see it change as we sit here. So that's how I anticipate what's going to happen. As you can see, what this number is that's a projection of how much Nvidia is going to grow over the next 2.5 years from where it is today. That's how I do it. That's how I'd suggest you do it. Build yourself a chart like this on every stock that you own. Because again, it comes down to two factors. That is how a company is in the business to generate profits for its shareholders, not to raise salaries for its executives like Ford and General Motors and Procter & Gamble. No, it's to return revenues or earnings to its shareholders for the faith they have put into the company to get it to where it is. And that's what Nvidia does for you. So that's how you should invest. And that's how you should consider every stock. Are they making me money? Are these numbers, how does this price of the stock relate to the earnings that they generate? And then most important, listen to the earnings calls. They'll tell you, Jensen will tell you what he thinks is going to happen in 2025, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. He'll tell you. He's the most open CEO I have ever seen. And listen to his earnings calls, listen to his keynote addresses that he gives. He tells you everything. Okay, now that you know how to analyze stocks, how to put this together, subscribe to the sources where you can get the data, take the time, plug it in, and become an expert. The data's there for you. Or if you have a full-time job or you don't have the inclination to do this, you don't know how to build an Excel spreadsheet, then just get on the bus. I'll do the work for you. I share all of this with my subscribers on my website, Best of Us Investors. So, and it's $60 a month. If you can't make $60 a month off of what I'm sharing with you, as I said, Frank and I and my tribe bought this stock on June 29th, 2022 for $153.40. If you did that with us, you've made your $60 many times over. I'm here to help you. If you want my help, just get on the bus.